At the time of this recording, I have been teaching kids for over 12 years, and I've been coaching kids Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for over 2 years. If I could go back and talk to my younger self, the one who's just starting out, here's what she would really like to know. You don't have to be amazing at everything. When you are starting out, or even when you're a seasoned coach or teacher, you don't have to be perfect at everything. And I think this is a trap we fall into. You want to be good at designing the classes. You want to be good at running the warm-ups. You want to be perfect at being able to communicate with the parents. And the truth is, you cannot be perfect at all of them. And trying to do so is just going to burn you out. You don't have to love every single part of coaching. In fact, I would be a little bit concerned if you did love every part of coaching, because coaching is hard, teaching is hard, and there are aspects of it that will challenge you to your very core. It will challenge your values. It will challenge every boundary that you thought you had set. And if you can learn to lean into your strengths, but also learn to be able to improve on those things that you see that are struggles for you, that is where you will become a balanced, holistic coach who has more to offer than just technique. The first thing that I would tell my younger self is that it is okay to get help. It is okay to reach out to somebody and say, I'm not feeling great at this part of my coaching or this part of my teaching. Please, can you help me? I've realized that the more that I surround myself with coaches who are better than me or coaches who are more experienced than I am, the more that it has challenged my beliefs, my values, and my philosophies on coaching and teaching to make me a better coach. I have never pretended to know everything about kids Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because I don't. I'm here learning just alongside my students are learning too. And I make mistakes the same way my students make mistakes. It's part of the learning journey. And in that same breath, it's important to normalize walking away from bad advice. I used to have people argue with me all the time. In fact, sometimes in my comments, they do still argue with me. Why aren't you drilling? Why don't you show them more technique? Why don't you give that child the details? And honestly, it just doesn't align with me. It doesn't align with my values. It doesn't align with my philosophy of coaching. So why am I continuing to take on that advice? Why am I continuing to listen to the parent on the sidelines that doesn't understand what I understand on child development or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in general? I'm there to be able to support, and that is my role as the coach. And as a coach, I need to feel safe in my own space. I need to feel safe to be able to create an environment where my children feel safe, where my students feel safe. So while I take on the great advice from coaches and I surround myself with that positive energy, I also need to be able to recognize, to take away the negative voices, those negative energies, that criticism that isn't constructive. It's just negative. And by doing so, I would thank my younger self because I would be saving myself a whole lot of heartache, a whole lot of stress, and a whole lot of problems that never needed to arise in the first place. So the next thing that I would tell my younger self, protect your energy. Never try to fill yourself from an empty cup. Kids sense your burnout. Kids can feel when your energy is off. And if you're lucky, they'll ask if you're okay. And if you're that unlucky, they will feed on that and they will run chaotic. And that's only going to make you feel worse. It only makes you feel more stressed. It only makes you feel more upset. And at the end of the day, you go home feeling worse. Burnout is real with kids, whether it's teaching a classroom or whether it's on the mats with coaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And we need to normalize taking breaks. We need to normalize having rests. We need to normalize being able to show up for kids, but also showing up for ourselves. Please take a rest. Coaches out there watching this now, honor your own energy. Take the break that you need to be able to show up as the best coach that you possibly can. The next part that I would tell my younger self, structure will always beat shouting. I've not been a shouter. I'm not a shouter. I've never been a shouter. But I think it's also important to be able to normalize the difference between shouting and you raising a voice with intention. But what I have noticed is that if I have a set structure, if I know exactly what I want to be able to do within flexibility, I'm able to create predictability. And with predictability comes structure. It becomes safe for the kids in my environment because they know what is going to happen next. Yes, the games change. Yes, the class can be as flexible as you like, but there are non-negotiables. Kids line up, kids finish lined up, kids do a warm-up, whatever it is that is special to your program, it will help you to set the tone for your classes. Don't rely on your mind to remember what you're wanting to do because your mind will fail you at some point. And when your mind starts to fail you, and if you become a little bit lost with what your structure is, that's when you're gonna start shouting. That's when you're gonna start to feel like you're losing that control and starting to raise your voice in a negative way need to be able to gain back that control. And once again, the kids will feel it, they will feed off it, and you're gonna go home more stressed than you need to. There is one thing that I really would love to share with my younger self. I don't have to dim my light as a coach. I know what my values are. I know what my philosophy is as a coach. And if you're coaching, you should know what that is too. And people are not always going to align with that. It's okay to feel confident with what you are setting out to achieve. It's okay to feel like you know what you want from your class, from your gym. Don't let somebody else's negative opinions of you dim that light, because your confidence as a coach is not arrogance. It is a level of professionalism. It is a level of understanding, because if you believe in your games, in your framework, in your philosophy, kids feel that, parents feel that, your community will feel that, and it will attract the right people. And that is so important. Align yourself with what you believe in. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise, and dim that light that is shining so brightly for the passion that you have as a coach. Be passionate for what you believe in, and let that guide your way through the negative energy, the negative experiences. So I guess your old program will come at the cost of your new one, because as a coach, you should be evolving. You should never stop learning. You should never feel like you've perfected everything in your program, because when you do that, you've kind of lost the way. A coach is always looking to evolve. And younger Ellie, the coach that just started, the teacher that just started when she was younger, she would have thought she had it all figured out. But now looking back, I realized that she did the best that she could with the knowledge that she had at the time, but she's never stopped trying to be better or learn more. You have to be able to let go of some of the old to make space for some of the new. And if that's at the cost of some of the things within your program, because you as a coach are learning and evolving and your own values and philosophy is growing, let it. It's okay. You don't have to have everything figured out. You're a coach. You're a human, just like everybody else. And as I said before, my students are learning, but so am I. And if you're a coach who is watching this and you're thinking, hey, this aligns with me, this is me, this is the journey that I'm on right now, I'm really proud of you for being here, and I'm really proud of you for wanting to be a better kids Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach. Thank you. And if you're a coach who is thinking, okay, I want to start learning games, I want to start doing these things, but I'm not really sure where to start, I'm going to leave the link below for my games-based coaching for kids Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. 10 games, they're really easy to implement, and I've given you a step-by-step guide to be able to start implementing fun and engaging games that will create less chaos, more engagement, and you might even learn a little thing or two about your coaching journey. If you like this content, please like and subscribe to my channel, and please follow along on the Art of Coaching Instagram, where I share daily tips and tricks for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coaches.